Good afternoon, it's Dr. Alan Yim. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Neapolitan chord. The Neapolitan chord is a flat major 2 chord, so it's the chord built on Ra. It also includes, as you can see, if you're in the minor mode, it's just flat 2, but if you're in major, it's going to be 2 alterations. It includes also flat 6. The Neapolitan is most often used in the minor mode because you don't have to make as many alterations. It's also normally used in first inversion. We'll see why in a second, but I would say the primary reason is that the root of the chord, the flat 2, moves in a particular direction, and the third is doubled. So if you put the root in the bass like you normally would, it's going to force the bass to move in a certain way that maybe it's better to put it somewhere in another voice, maybe in an interior voice rather than in the bass or the soprano. The root moves to either Do or to T. When it moves to T, it's an interesting progression because it's Ra T, and it sounds in the key of C minor, for example. So it would be Ra T. So that interval looks like a step, but it clearly doesn't sound like a step when you're in the key of C minor. So that is a diminished third, and you can hear it sounds a little bit unusual. The Neapolitan is a substitution for the 2 chord. It functions the same way 2 does, so you would normally expect the chord before 2 to be maybe a 6 or a 4. So that's kind of normal, 6 or 4 before the 2 chord. Same thing for the Neapolitan. And after 2, you normally expect to see 5. And yes, the Neapolitan is a predominant chord. It comes before the dominant. Of course, you should know what it sounds like, so I guess I'll play it. So here's the flat 2 and inverted. So that's the chord. That's a D flat minor, major chord in the key of C minor. And then, okay, something like that. So that's a flat 2. Notice, I guess, it's going to go. Okay. We're going to try to write this thing, because I think that is probably one of the biggest problems is writing this chord. It's not difficult to understand, but it may be a little bit challenging to write it for a couple of reasons. One is when it's normally in minor, so minor can get a little bit confusing because of the accidentals. For example, the 5 chord. So I'm not going to write it like this. Okay, please, when you write the Neapolitan for the analysis, use the N. So the N, and we'll just remember it, since it is a Neapolitan Sixth, we're going to write it like this. 6. Now, if it's not inverted, of course, you can just write N. Or if it's used as a 7th chord, you could write N7. But we are going to use N6. So that's the Neapolitan. Up above, we could just write the chord symbol for what it is. And this is D flat over F. Then it's going to go to 5. So first of all, I'll do the bass, which is F. And then I'm going to step up to, oh, by the way, I just broke my own rule, which is always put the chord symbol first. And just a little reminder, when you have 5, don't forget, in minor, raise 7. So when you have 5 in minor. And now let's write the Neapolitan. We know that we have to flat the 2, and we're going to double the third. So I have to have a D flat, 2 Fs, and A flat, which is already flatted. I'm just going to, let's see, how about I put the D flat here, the F, and the A flat. Okay. And there's our alteration. Notice again I'm doubling the F. Now I'm going to try to move this chord. I'm going to move the root of the chord first, because we know that that is either going to go to Do or to T. It will go to T when we use the 5 chord. If we go to 1-6-4, it will go to Do. And now I'm going to try to move the other voices. So we want to make this move in a way that's logical. Try to use common tone steps or small leaps in that order. So this is what it looks like. Okay, let's see if I forgot anything. Yes, I did. You can probably tell. I forgot to raise the leading tone. And there, as you can see, is that diminished third. Okay. So the other voices are moving sort of more comfortably. The soprano down by step, or half step. The alto down by a minor third, and then this, that diminished third, and of course the bass steps up. Sorry. So listen. Okay, and then when I play the D flat chord, oh, did I play? Yes, by itself, it doesn't sound strange, of course, but let me play a normal 2-5-1 first. That's a normal 2-5-1. That's the diminished, right? D diminished over F. 1-6-4-5 and 1. Or I could do this. Okay. That was not right. Okay. That's the sound of the Neapolitan. And here's that's the sound of a diatonic. I'm just noticing that the D on my keyboard seems to stick out. Alright, let's try going to a 1-6-4 again, the Neapolitan. Now, I'm not 100% confident that, given the way I wrote it, it's going to work. One of the things that I'm not so confident about is that when you go to 1-6-4, you could end up with parallels, and specifically parallel fifths. So let's see what happens. First thing, I'm going to resolve or move the flat 2 down to C. And now it should be quite clear where the other ones go. And you can see it here. It's really obvious, I hope, to you. So here, if you do this, you have a parallel fifth, which is naturally to be avoided. It's easily fixed. We're just going to flip them at the voices so we get a parallel fourth. I guess the easiest way to do this would be to just put the tenor part up in the soprano and move the other two voices down. So we're going to try that. I'm going to have to take out that, and now I'm going to move the soprano, the tenor part to the soprano part. So there it is, the D flat moving down to Do, and now I'm going to put the other part in the tenor. So that was here, the double third. I see why I'm confused. Okay, it does help if you have the correct chord symbol so that you don't confuse yourself, like I just did a good job on myself there. Alright, C minor over G, and there's the chord, and you can see now I have switched the voicing so that I do have parallels, but I have the somewhat acceptable parallel fourths here. Okay, and this is what it sounds like. And then of course it would go. So this is the Neapolitan. The original voicing I had was, nowadays we don't really notice it as much, that parallel fifth. That's it for this video. I hope this explains the Neapolitan a little bit. Practice writing it and recognize that it can be used in a variety of ways. It can be tonicized by flat 6. You could even make a little mini progression by using flat 3, flat 7, flat 6, and then the Neapolitan. Not in that order. It would be, okay, so in the key of C minor, for example, we can make a little mini circle progression starting with flat 7. So, okay, so what did I just play? Flat 7, B flat, to flat 3, E flat, to flat 6, A flat, to the Neapolitan, and then of course that's a predominant chord, so then I would go 5, 1, and again the whole thing. Okay. Thanks for watching.